me.
On the starting grid, on the phone.
Always.
In tandem, on the phone.
Probably.
Finish.
There's been times.
When you're finished, you review on the phone.
I do, actually.
Yeah.
It works out well.
Always on the phone.
Always got to be on it.
What's up, guys? Larry Chen here, and we got Chris Forsberg here. Welcome to another episode of Hoonigan Autofocus. We're featuring Chris's new tow rig for his next season. We got a new livery. It matches his race car.
Yeah, you know, we decided to go with, you know, the greens and the purples. The Joker theme is what we've always run over the years. And, you know, what better way to debut it than with no wheels, tires, engine, or interior.
I see you have a lot of speed holes here, too.
Yeah, you know, we're trying to lighten it up. You know, we want to make sure our rig gets there, you know, before anybody else. Because, you know, you got to show up first, really prove your point, and make sure you have, you know, time to rebuild the engine since this one melted. You know, it got a little hot on its way over, but yeah, I think we can rebuild it.
Yeah.
It'll be all right.
So why have you brought me to this industrial wasteland?
Well, because we got a fresher rig.
Yeah,
it's a little
just
cleaner.
a little bit. Actually, you know what? Wait, it does match?
It does
though.
actually kind of match.
That is kind of hilarious.
It is really funny. Yeah, this is our rig. I think we did find it.
That is so funny. So you this is your tow rig, and this is your race truck, or race UTV.
Yeah, so this is our Polaris RZR. We're going down to Baja. We're doing the NORRA 500 actually in like a few days. This is like it, ready to go, ready to you know, go down and pass tech. And it's cool. I got to do Baja with the Valvoline team back in like 2016, and it was a pretty gnarly first experience, right? It's the Baja 1000, it's the biggest race, right? And also it was in a rig that was, you know, just completed, barely done, and that thing, it had some issues. So we'll just put it that way.
I don't wanna,
it broke down once or twice.
I don't want to say anything bad about it, but I almost feel like it was kind of, you're kind of set up to fail. Honestly, like I could have told you, but you know what? That's the fun part of Baja, right?
It is, and yeah, I mean, I knew what we were getting ourselves into. Me and Turk were going down there, and we see the truck. We're just like, right, you know, like here we go. But
the thing is, just finishing the Baja 1000 is a big ordeal.
A huge
right?
ordeal. Like
it is so crazy. Especially, I gotta hand it to those the guys who do it in the Volkswagen Beetles.
Oh my God, those guys. So the funny part, the funnest part about that story is, since we were in the stock truck class, we were leaving at the same times as the bugs, and so I got passed by buggers here. I was like, wow, all right, you know, these guys are motoring. But then the one cool thing I got to do was with that rig, since we were running pretty low, pretty slow, and towards the back of the field, was that I pulled 3 rigs out from ditches, you know, because I'm pulling up and these guys are hauling the mail and trying to get good time. They go blasting off, they get stuck in a ditch, and so I'm coming around in this, you know, big old Dodge, and you know, they're out there, they're waving with their, you know, strap and trying to get a drag out, and one of them was Pistol Pete, if you remember him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So and here's the crazy thing: a lot of people don't understand. All the trophy trucks have gone. Everything's dug out already.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's you can't drive a normal truck through the actual race course lane because they've dug it out so much.
Yep.
And the bugs, they're essentially just dragging the belly.
Yeah, or they're like
way.
straddling the high side, because they can, like, between the ruts, they can get up on the high side in between because they're so narrow, right? And so like they'll do that, or yeah, they're just dragging the centers out. And yeah, so Pistol Pete must have been there for like hour or 2 or whatever, who knows? But like, no one's gonna stop for him because they're on the race. But like, yeah, so I was like, yeah, grab one. I remember him from the Maxxis days. He's an awesome dude.
So first attempt at Baja 1000 was in a really heavy diesel truck.
Yes, and essentially what took us out was the transfer case on the transmission. The mount failed and it broke, and it basically cracked the casing on the transmission. So that was it. It was the Baja 100 for us.
Right. So this time you're not going to the Baja 1000. You're going to NORRA.
NORRA 500, yeah.
NORRA 500, and you're doing it in something that's a lot lighter. This is kind of like, I guess, the Reese Millen approach, right? Like lighter, faster.
It's a little more proven. There's a lot of guys that have good track records, you know, with the RZRs, and they're becoming more stout, more durable, and there's just so many aftermarket parts for it, and you kind of know what you're getting yourself into instead of a full custom truck, which is what we had that last time. And so now it's like, these are all parts that have done the Baja 1000 and other forms of off-road racing, and so we already know that as long as everything is tight and right on it, that these arms are going to hold up, and like these wheels are going to hold up, and things like that.
this is kind of something interesting that I've kind of noticed with off-road racing. So, we've been following off-road racing for about 10 years now, and time again, these things are proving themselves. And, King of the Hammers is a very good example where
rough one
year, somebody's going to win overall in one of these.
Yeah.
Versus unlimited everything.
Yeah.
And I honestly think pretty soon someone's going to win the Baja 1000. Could be Reese Millen, could be somebody else in a RZR, because you know what? Slow and steady, and then reliable and lightweight, and just all of that versus this behemoth, that potentially could break.
Yeah, Reese Millen's approach is pretty rad, seeing him evolve from just like a RZR similar to this to like what he's doing now is like really, really cool. And they're doing motor swaps in it, and it's getting crazy amounts of travel out of the chassis, and they're doing the full tube frame chassis. So this will be running in the modified turbo class. So we're still the stock chassis, and we have a bolt-on legal cage. All of it's from Cognito. We have aftermarket suspension arms, which give it a wider stance. It's stronger, more durable, more reliable. And we also even have Justin Lambert, who runs Cognito, his shock package. So he set us up with the spring rates and the shock valving that we want to get, and obviously got us dialed in with all the other Cognito parts you see on here. The bumpers, the long travel, the roll cage, even their window net setup, and their fuel. So this is a whole custom fuel cell that he makes in-house. It's got a fuel-safe fuel bladder in it, but then he does all the other bits, for it with, the mounts, getting it drop in. This is a 33-gallon tank, so this should get us about 150 to 180 miles, which is perfect because we're doing, the 500, so it's 250 miles per day about. So about halfway through, we do a pit stop and refuel.
So, and is the reason why you're doing a four-door because you could carry more stuff? I see you have tools, spares.
Yeah, we got a little spare rack in there with all some spare parts, some tools, things like that. But no, actually the four doors, that's the chassis that all the pro guys use as their unlimiteds. So they have a longer wheelbase, so it's more the size of a car, and you get less of the porpoise effect, right? And so it's easier for clearing the whoops. 90% or more of the guys in the unlimited class, they start with the four-seater because they like the wheelbase, and they just lop it all off and build everything from the ground up. This is still just a four-door because we're running in the modified class, not the unlimited class.
I see. Okay.
So we have to maintain the stock suspension mounting points, all this factory framework up on the top end. The unlimited class, they'll take it and they'll lop it right off here on this bottom plane and build everything custom up. But as being our first time going back after the first experience we had in Baja, we wanted to do something that was a little more obtainable, a little more approachable, and so we're like, yeah, stock modified. So we're still getting to mess with the rig. We're not just going out there in a fully stock Polaris. We get to do some custom work to it, get to work with some great partners, and this is the rig we have.
So tell me about the motor setup here then.
Yeah, another very interesting part is, so what we all thought, based on us being drift guys, we just make as much power as we can and just put the biggest, baddest drivetrain you can into it. But just like you just said, slow and steady wins the race. This is, we do have a modified charge pipe. It's it allows a little more flow. We have a Magnaflow muffler. We do have a K&N intake on it, just like your very, very typical basic bolt-ons. But it doesn't have an aftermarket turbo, no big tune or anything like that. And Justin, who has the unlimited class, and he runs in the unlimited class of NORRA and Baja and everything else, he will win those races on a stock engine. Yeah.
Just because it's more reliable.
Yeah, because the biggest problem that you have with any of these side-by-sides is the belt, right? So the belt is basically your temperature gauge, and we actually do have a temperature gauge on the belt, and so that's your throttle. You can just keep that thing in the yellow, but if you keep pushing to the red, getting more power out of it or lean on that gas pedal too much, you're gonna snap that belt, then you're gonna be on the side of the road. So he basically just says, stock drivetrain with the big axles, and you're ready to go.
Because this essentially is a CVT, right? Who knows? Maybe the next generation. I know already the Honda UTVs are using a transmission.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which is so cool. I would love to see more manufacturers get into that, and also big players like Honda get into these bigger, badder UTVs, because just that reliability, I'm sure it would come in so handy, when you're actually racing these things.
Yeah, the belt is the biggest, I don't want to say drawback, but that's what you got to keep the most eye on. That's what is going to potentially fail first. And so, yeah, seeing the companies like Honda, you know, starting to put like, it's got little paddle shifters. It's like a little sequential transmission. It's so cool. It's still non-turbo, so like just the first company that's going to make a turbo, paddle shifted, sequential style, you know, side by side. They're really going to kill it. And so I think the belt is kind of a way of the past, but it's, you know, it works, and as long as you're mindful of it, it's just fine.
Okay, so what else have you done? So you got a wheel and tire setup. These
Oh, yeah.
wheels are pretty cool.
Yeah. So we got the KMC forged wheels, full bead lock. You know, so this is a full bead lock ring that bolts in. It takes a very long time to mount up 8 wheels and tires. I'll tell you that much. You know, it's a whole ordeal. You know, mount the tire, put the ring on. You got to anti-season. You got to sit there and just slowly, you know, tighten them all down. So anyone that hasn't done a bead lock, you know, clear your afternoon, because that's what you're going to be doing. And,
although the nice thing is you don't actually have to have a tire machine.
Yeah, I know. You could do this right on the side of the road. So like we do carry a spare, but you can also you know, change a tire on there without a machine, which is really cool. Yeah, and so the tires, speaking of, are the EFX 32-inch. So we went with 32 instead of 33 because it's a little less load on the drivetrain. Got great, you know, tread pattern on it, and it's a really lightweight tire. It's made specifically for UTV off-road. So it's you know, it's a light package. You can't really put it on a street truck. You know, it'd be a little too heavy for it. You know, it says right here, it's like, you know, the PSI limit is 20 PSI. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's made for lightweight vehicles.
And so these are actually made by KMC.
Oh, yeah.
And these are for race only, or you could actually buy these?
No, you can buy those, yeah. So it's a forged wheel. It's like a full, proper, ready-to-go race style rim. So very lightweight, very strong, and yeah, just made right in-house. And so it's really, really cool to see, you know, like I really like the, you know, the polished raw look, so we went with that to kind of brighten up the rig a little bit.
Magnaflow exhaust.
Yes, sir.
This is pretty cool. Does this open when
it can open, yeah.
Okay.
We keep it shut because it's quieter. But yeah, Magnaflow has yeah, that little setup. It's got a little turnout, so you can really throttle it up if you want, but we're just gonna keep that guy shut.
What else have
So
you
yeah,
done
back
to
here,
this?
like we got a couple cool little bits. So like Cognito makes all this stuff. So this is like an upgraded engine mount kit. So it removes this whole bar, and you gotta take the whole front half of the, you know, setup apart, and you have a whole new engine brace that's twice as strong, bigger bolts here, and this little billet with Delrin insert, because that's a failure point. And then they also have these same thing on the rear sway bar. So they come with a little brace kit. So you take out the rear seats, take out all the rear plastic, and you grind that up, and you brace the sway bar mount, because this will just tear off because you're just moving and slapping this thing so much. And so yeah, they give you stronger end links, because as you can tell, it's a lot of just trying to get the thing to be more robust, right? And like, you know, these cool little mud flaps that they sell for it, well, it's not really a mud flap, it's more of a rock guard. It keeps the rocks out from inside the wheel, because it'll get inside the brake pad and it'll lock up your brakes. So that's something that you really gotta be careful of. So you see how it like trims right up to the tire? Yeah, so like cool little tips and tricks like that we learned from Justin is really awesome. So here's our spare belt, always gotta have one. And then, yeah, to be legal, you gotta have window nets, right? And so it's cool, they have this whole kit that you can get that it's a double latch system. So to pass tech, you have to have a latch on the top and this little door latch. So we had that all installed. This is all from Cognito as well. And then these little door bags. So this is will be full of water. So this is our little camel bag, if you will. And just like a couple little zipper pockets to put, you know, any little quick access tools that you might want. We of course have, you know, Recaro seats, and we got some nice harnesses. These seats, they are like so thin with foam, and I thought it was going to be incredibly uncomfortable to ride in these things, because a lot of the off-road guys run those big soft suspension seats. But it's funny because Vaughn helped develop these seats with Recaro for his off-road truck, and when they were testing, he had one in the driver's seat and his passenger had one of the old style, and they actually got into a pretty big tumble.
I was there.
You were there, yeah. So you could probably tell the story better than I can.
Well, I feel bad. I mean, you know what? We absolutely love following Vaughn with everything he does, right?
Yeah.
So actually, right before I came here, I was with him at Ford Fest. And when he started getting into Ultra 4, we were there. You know, we were so stoked to be able to follow him with that. But, you know, unfortunately, you just have those incidents. You know, it's racing. He tried to pass somebody who was in the dust or whatever. He hit a rock, and then, yeah, there was some flips.
Yep.
So good thing is he was okay. Unfortunately, his passenger had some issues. And then, but after that, you know, now it just proves that this seat is actually a lot safer than a lot of other off-road seats.
Yeah, because everyone thinks you want that big suspension seat so that you get some movement. But then what happened was his force transferred through the cushion and it bottomed out, and that's why he had a back injury, whereas Vaughn was just straddled into the seat and all good. And we did a whole day in testing with this rig, and no big deal. I thought I was gonna be sore and like have all this pain and stuff, but like yeah, these seats are incredibly comfortable. So this is like the new off-road race seat from Recaro, and yeah, it's definitely the bee's knees. So we're into it. And
lights, you got KCs.
Absolutely, yeah. I love the 6-pod look. So the big round KC lights, you can't miss them. And these are their the new LED ones. So they're very very bright.
Yeah, I have similar ones on my FJ.
I like the styling on yours though.
I just like the old school look.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Yours, it looks great, especially because the FJ has that retro look and it matches the headlights.
But they're LEDs.
Oh, are they?
Yeah,
oh, no
they're
way.
Like top of the line. I mean, they're probably the same ones, but the point is
to have
that,
the old school look.
Yeah, I
That's
just like
cool.
the old school look.
No, I love it. Yeah. No, it looks great. And yeah, like in the front end, you can see like same thing, like these arms, just like super beefy A arms. These are all cut and made in the USA at Cognito headquarters up north. So really cool to see them just creating these parts right in their own
And
factory.
then, so did you guys modify the suspension too?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
the shocks?
Yeah, so we got a whole new spring package. So we got different upper and lower spring rates, the dual rate, and so we also have the adjustable inside the cockpit. We can change the shock settings with the live valve on top of this external reservoir. So really cool to have him dial us in on that too, because he's like, yeah, with the wider track and everything else, like it changes the the motion ratios. So he's like, we gotta get you dialed in. So he set us up with this. It's the same exact shock package he runs on his race rig. Yeah, well, and the same arms and everything, really.
So the NORRA is a little different in that it's not one time, right?
Yes.
You
So
actually.
I think it's good for us as a going out there.
So it's broken up into days, right? So you have a certain amount of miles, and then you overnight, whatever, do whatever you need to
Fix the
repair.
rig.
Yeah. Versus the Baja 1000 is one go,
Straight
boom.
through.
And it's like, I remember there was some times when it was kind of near Thanksgiving, and we would shoot the race, finish the race, podium ceremony, whatever, champagne, all that. I'd go home back to the US, and then it's Thanksgiving, I'm eating my turkey, and I look at the tracker, and people are still trying to finish the race.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 36 hours, 40 hours
Oh,
after
my
the
God.
fact.
Yeah.
People are still trying to finish.
Because you just want to finish.
It's
Yeah.
just, you're just worn down to a nub at that
I
point.
can't even imagine, 40 hours straight, like just like, we're gonna make it.
Yeah, in a Volkswagen Beetle.
yeah,
Bless those guys so much. Okay, so I've actually never featured a UTV on autofocus, so this is the first one.
Yeah.
We're actually gonna take this out for a rip around
Heck
here,
yeah,
right?
man.
That's
Yeah.
why you took
We're gonna-
me out to this is like Breaking Bad. Like,
yeah, I heard a couple
area
gunshots, so we're gonna try and keep it clean.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we had it out testing once in Pismo with the slime team, and then we came down here. We're gonna give it one last test before we hit the road Wednesday morning. It's Monday right now, so in 48 hours we're gonna be rolling out of here. So yeah, we just wanted to check it out one last time and wanted to invite you out. So
cool.
right around the corner.
This should be fun.
Heck yeah.